I was going to show you something different this week. Well, I had 3 new figures turn up over the weekend. So let's start with this one. Welcome to MANDO Collectables. So here's this week's figure unboxing, and this is TMS 008. This is IG-11 from the Mandalorian Season 1, 1/6 scale figure. And I've waited a very long time for this figure to turn up. But what I've seen in videos over the last, well, nearly 6 months now, this guy is pretty impressive. And I'm really looking forward to cracking him out of the box and adding him to the collection. But as per usual, before we do that, we'll take a look at the box art out of packaging. And we'll just take a closer look at the picture art on the front of the box, which is IG-11 himself. And it looks a pretty fantastic picture of the actual figure himself. Working down, as per usual, we do have the band on the front of the box, which now proceeds to go around the side panel. And nothing special on the side, of course. And then it disappears into the front panel of the packaging. On the back, of course, we have the whodunits as per usual. What's and ifs and whys and warnings. Nothing too interesting there. And then finally, we have, of course, the wrap where it begins with a nice action pose for IG-11 on the side. And there we go. So move it round to the front again. So there is the front packaging of the IG-11 box. Really impressed with that. So, as per usual, let's crack it open and take a look at the art card that covers the actual figure. And here's the inlay card that covers the figure. And as per usual, another fantastic action pose they give him. Definitely frame-worthy pictures these are. But we're moving closer. And as you can see, there's some really fantastic detail on this character. And I love the backdrops they use. They make the character look so much better. But overall, these, as I say, these inlay cards are definitely worth framing. They are so good. But there's the inlay card for IG-11. So what we'll do now is crack him open, and then we shall look at all of his accessories and then take a look at the figure. And here is all of IG-11's accessories. Yet again, there's not a lot, but the figure makes up for the fact because the figure is pretty impressive, which I'll be showing you in a bit. So let's start off with the most important part, which is the part I'm not going to use ever, which is the base. And as you can see, it's the iconic sand base with human footprinting. And when you see IG-11, you'll notice his feet aren't actually human. They are, well, robotic. So Hot Toys, I don't know what you were doing. This base is an absolute waste of a base. So my IG-11 will be standing freestand. It will not be going on this base. That is a fact. Absolute waste of time. Next, we have his pauldron, which goes across his chest. This is just on a piece of card at the moment, and so I'm going to have to fit that over his chest. Then next we have this, which is the detonator that fits on the front of IG-11. You can also put batteries in it. Flick it on and it blinks like it's ready to explode. There's the batteries, of course, that comes with it. I don't think I'll be using the batteries and sticking the detonator in. I can't be bothered with that, just for a blinking light. It's a bit silly. Then we have 2 blasters. First one, this is his rifle blaster, which detail isn't too bad at all on it. It's not too bad. And then we have, of course, the iconic E11 blaster. Always an impressive little rifle gun, this is. But that's it. There's not a lot else to show you in terms of accessories. So what we'll do is we will get IG-11 standing up and show you the figure before we actually pose him and stick him on the shelf. So here is IG-11. And as you can tell, this guy is one tall dude. But the detail on him is absolutely fantastic. So we'll move in close and give you a close look at his head and the detail. Now, obviously, I'm holding the camera, so I can't really show the articulation, but his actual head completely turned around 360 degrees. And then you move down, and the level of detail on this guy is absolutely fantastic. But I was most impressed with the fact that the bottom half, like his panels here, and also his legs are actually die cast. I didn't realise that. I thought he was all going to be complete plastic, but he's not, which I'm really, really impressed with. But you say, going down to his legs and then getting to his iconic feet. Now you can see what I was talking about with the stand. Human footprints in the stand with robotic feet. Hot Toys, I honestly don't know what you're playing at. It's just an absolute waste of a base. But there you go. From the side, this guy, his arms and everything, his body moves 360 degrees. His arms are fully articulated, so you can spin him around. He's got multiple poses, this guy. But there's the back of him. And yet again, some fantastic detail on this guy. Really, really impressed with IG-11. Now his hands, his fingers do move individually. You can open them up, if I can do that without, so as you can see, his fingers are very, very delicate, so you really must be careful with his fingers. So when I put the weapon in, I won't be like putting too much pressure on his fingers. But apart from that, overall, this is one outstanding figure. Absolutely so impressed with this figure. But what we'll do is, as I can't really do much with the articulation because I'm holding the camera, I'll just put him in a couple of poses, show him in a couple of poses, and then we shall get him set up and then add him to the collection. So here's his first pose, and obviously he's dual wielding his two guns, and the difficult part was actually getting the guns in his hands because the fingers are so delicate. So whenever you get this guy, make sure you take your time and put the guns in his fingers really slowly, because they do and would tend to break quite easily, I think. But as you can see, his head's twisted, his torso's twisted one direction. And as I say, he's going to be freestanding, and I think he's pretty stable enough to be able to stand as he is. So that's pose number one. And finally, pose number two. Just him with his arms bent and standing there in just a museum pose. I'm not going to pose him too much, to be honest with you. But really, really happy overall with this figure. I'm going to leave both of his guns in his hands. But yeah, overall, absolutely awesome figure. One I am really, really happy to add to the collection. Now he's got Pauldron on. And overall, I'm very, very impressed. Apart from the base that you get, of course, with him, which is not the greatest and will never be used to stand him on. But he'll be great anyway, freestanding without a base, because he's tall enough as he is. So there you go, guys. That is IG-11. So let's add him to the collection. So there is IG-11 standing next to the Durasteel Mando and the Heavy Mandalorian. And as you can see, he doesn't need a base because he's quite a tall character anyway. But really, really happy with him there. And another fantastic figure added to the collection. So looking pretty impressive. As I say, I've had another 2 coming this week. And I've got another probably about 12 more to unbox. So there's plenty of figures unboxings to come. Plus a few little extras. So there we go, guys. Another one added to the collection. IG-11 from the Mandalorian. So there we have it. Another video done and dusted, and yet another awesome figure added to the Mandalorian collection, which is of course IG-11, and he's standing really cool next to the Durasteel Mando and behind the Heavy Mandalorian. He's freestanding, which is pretty cool, and I'm happy with, because why, just why would you put a base with sand and human footprints in with a robot with square feet? It's just going to bamboozle my brain for an eternity. But regardless of that, the figure overall is an absolutely superb figure. One I'm very happy to add to the collection at last. So, collection's looking pretty cool. Another good few figures to come in the coming weeks, with a few extras, of course, something different than figures. But until that video, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy my content. Please do leave a comment and obviously do like this video, thumbs it up. And of course, as per usual, if you do like the content, please do subscribe. But remember, only if you want to. I'll see you in the next video.